This is the story of Ashok's wife, Vinita, who fought to uncover the truth about her husband's last moments and to demand change in the Mumbai police force, which she describes as unaccountable and ill-equipped.
Okay, first up, today marks 2 years since India fell victim to one of the deadliest terror attacks. We remember those who lost their lives and those who fought bravely.
Remember, it was a 60-hour-long siege that took place in 2008. The Chief Minister, along with other dignitaries, will be paying homage to the martyrs.
Venita's story shows one woman's determination to seek the truth against all odds. Rising above her personal tragedy, she set out on a quest to make her city and her country a safer place through accountability, understanding, and reaching out to the other side.
I'm Vinita Kamte. I have two sons. One is 17. His name is Rahul. The other one is 10 years old. He's Arjun. Before this, my life revolved around my husband, my children. I was very happy being a homemaker. My life was just my family.
Ashok Kamte had risen to second in command in the Mumbai East Region Police Force. He was a popular, charismatic and widely respected man.
When he came from Mumbai, we would sit in the afternoons in the garden outside and go for ice cream late night. There would be loud music playing. So it was like he was the life of the house, when he came in. Because my husband was excellent with weapons. He was called for the job in South Mumbai by the Commissioner of Police. And suddenly after this, everything changed.
On the 26th of November 2008, terrorists from Pakistan arrived by boat in Mumbai. They spread across the city. The targets: a Jewish outreach centre, a popular tourist spot, Leopold Cafe, the luxury hotels, the Taj and Oberoi. Two headed to the Karma Hospital via the main train station. Watching the news at home with her sons, Venita called Ashok. He told her he was being sent to the Trident Hotel.
And my son said, "Why don't you ask Dara to wear a bulletproof vest?" He said, "I'm on the site, I'm at the place, and don't call me up again."
Although he told Venita he was going to the Trident, Ashok ended up at the Karma Hospital. At first, terrorists fired on Ashok and his team from the terrace. The terrorists then fled down a lane next to the hospital.
The lane which they had taken is a pretty narrow lane. The fencing was such which was, it could bend, and they were sort of hiding in the bushes. They must have suddenly spotted these terrorists and the vehicle came to a halt. My husband got off the vehicle. And he shot at one of the guys. He got hit on the hand, his weapon fell down. He tried to lift it, by then the other shot was fired at him. It appears that maybe the other terrorists fired at all of them. There were a lot of people who watched it happen.
When one came from here, one came from that side. Two hand grenades. So one of them.
And whatever little news we kept getting was from the television channels.
Arrived, they threw grenades and shot another officer dead.
When news spread that Ashok Kamte died, it spread like wildfire all over Maharashtra. Every 10 minutes, people were standing with garlands and stopping the ambulance and just placing wreaths.
Ashok shot and wounded Ajmal Kasab, the only surviving terrorist, before succumbing to his own injuries. Police were able to catch Kasab as a result of the wound he sustained from Ashok's gun. If the public knew that Ashok had wounded Kasab, it would make him a hero. Instead, the authorities kept quiet. The truth about what happened that night only emerged much later, as Venita began to unravel a cover-up that attempted to hide the failures in Mumbai police response to terrorist attacks.
After the first initial 13 days of mourning period that we have, I asked everyone to leave home. And I just wanted to spend time with my children. That was the time when they really broke down and they had a lot of questions to ask.
Like her sons, Vinita too was full of questions.
Actually, I had no idea as to what had happened. And there was no news about the terrorists having been injured. No information, real information coming out from the police. And I kept thinking, why is it not being announced, or why is it not being told to the media? They looked as if they went into the lane, they were ambushed, shot at, and they didn't fight back.
Convinced her husband did not have to die that night, Vinita, who studied law at university, decided to embark on her own investigation of events.
So I did try and, sort of find out from the senior officers as to what happened, and I wanted to see where it actually happened, to understand. And I started gathering my own information, talking to a lot of residents who lived there.
This is the spot, madam. No. This is the spot. And there is marking, bullet marking. You were
hiding right there.
Yeah. And this way.
I wrote a letter to the Commissioner of Police saying that I would like the call log records. When I asked them, they just forwarded my letter to another officer, and I never got a reply back. I'd lived with my husband, and I knew his caliber, and I refused to accept what they told me. So then I said, I'm not going to beg and plead to them. I mean, I'm a lawyer. I'm definitely going to, do it the legal way. And that's how I started filing my RTA applications to the right to information. Somewhere I realized that I was not being told the entire truth. Mr. Karkare was the anti-terrorist squad chief of Maharashtra. What exactly happened that night was Mr. Karkare had given instructions to the control room 3 times saying, cover the front gate, send a team there. Had Mr. Karkare's instructions been followed, had the police deployed as per his instructions, they would have been shot there itself.
In her search for the truth about what happened to her husband, Vinita stumbled upon many lies, inadequacies and cover-ups. She could not keep silent. She reached a brave decision to expose her findings in a book entitled To the Last Bullet, which she wrote in cooperation with the journalist Vinita Deshmukh. It was an instant bestseller.
With the publication of the book, we were immensely successful. We never imagined that the book can have such an impact on a common citizen. Ashok Kamte has shown that you don't need an NGO or a mass civic activist to do it. You as the citizen of India can pick up your own battles and march forward and tell the nation the truth. And I think that is the biggest triumph of Vinita Kamte.
To the Last Bullet laid bare what Vinita describes as the inadequacies of Mumbai's security system, which left both policemen and citizens all too vulnerable to terrorist attacks. In 2008, Mumbai police were battling terrorists without even bulletproof vests. Since then, some reforms have taken place.
We do have a better QRT force now. It's much larger than what it was then. And hopefully it has changed, but nobody sort of, wanted to make the system or the officers accountable. Whereas I believe that unless you have an accountability in any system, you cannot bring about change.
26/11 was a turning point for Mumbai police, where they realized that they were not well equipped and well trained for handling terrorism, and that is the time new weapons and an entire new police force was trained. We have an armed police department head who basically will tell us what...
Ashok's death brought painful changes into Vinita's life. From her previous role as housewife and mother, she suddenly found herself to be the family's main breadwinner.
I did not know where the pay is going to come from. I found it even difficult to accept, the insurance check for my husband's death. And I kept, asking them, come tomorrow, come 15 days later, because that was something like accepting the truth.
To provide Venita with a source of livelihood and as compensation for her loss, the Indian government gave Venita a gas station, which she now manages.
When we took over, we realized that, we had to pump in money. Because a lot of people came and told me, no, this is very difficult and people have lost a lot of money in this. And I said, no, if it's given in my husband's name, I definitely would like to give it a shot. So it was a challenge. At the same time, it was an opportunity to do something for the workers there. And I believe if I can also in some way help someone, it sort of gives me a sense of satisfaction as well.
Venita's determination to use her personal tragedy as an opportunity for good led her to the Austrian NGO Women Without Borders and their conference in Vienna. Their main initiative, SAVE, Sisters Against Violence Extremism, is the world's first female anti-terror platform. It looks at how women can deter the spread of radical ideologies in their families and wider communities.
I was under the impression it's all about talking on peace and, terrorism. And when I went there, I was shocked to know that, nobody wanted a speech. Everything came from the heart.
Shortly afterwards, Women Without Borders brought women affected by violent extremism in India and Pakistan together.
What we want to do with this meeting is to start a dialogue between two countries, Pakistan and India, unlikely partners taking the...
The idea was if women share their stories, they can build empathy between them, break down prejudices, and recognise commonalities.
My husband was killed the next day of pain is Poto. So she of course is a victim of terrorism, so am I. The pain is the same, I just want to stress that. The sorrow is the same. The hurt in her eyes is the same as mine. Her child's loss is the same as mine. I have 3 daughters. And tomorrow my husband would have turned 44. And I wouldn't have been here if it wasn't for my husband's death.
Each one spoke about their experiences, the grief they underwent, the pain.
And he died fighting terrorists in the 26/11 Mumbai terror attack.
Speaking about it was not easy because we don't speak about it in India to anybody.
It's my right to know, and I wrote letters to them. They refused to reply to my letters, so I decided to invoke the right to information.
It was initially very difficult, but after I spoke about it, it was easier in the sense we all bonded together.
Members of SAVE, rather than wait for high-level peace talks to bring about change, want to reach out to one another across the divide to create a united front against violent extremism. From the grassroots, they aim to replace suspicion with understanding and create a safer, more secure future for the next generation.
I think women look at it very differently. We look at each other as, somebody who's got affected, her children are affected. We bind as, mothers, what she must have gone through as well, as a victim. Whether it's me or it's somebody from Pakistan, there's so many women who get affected when something like this happens. Families get affected, children get affected. Terrorism is, you're seeing it all around the world. Innocent people who have nothing to do against any particular community or whatever. They are the soft targets they've become today. So it's basically all of us who are getting involved, are becoming victims of this terrorist activities. So we bind with each other as victims of terrorism, not because we belong to a particular country, because you realize that each one has gone through some amount of grief in their lifetime and how they have overcome that and are giving something back to the society. And I think that is what gives you a sense of satisfaction, when you can give back something to the society.
Vinita set up the Ashok Memorial Fund in memory of her husband. The fund helps women whose husbands work in the police force, focusing on education and training. Vinita's journey shows what courageous women can do to make their society safer. By supporting and bringing such women together, Women Without Borders helps them play a powerful role in making the world a safer place.